Welcome to a presentation about understanding your district's special education determination letter with regard to how we measure the implementation of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act in Alaska. My name is Sam Jordan, and I am one of the administrators for special education here at the Department of Education, and I will be explaining determination letters to you today. During the course of the discussion today, we're going to have an overview of district determinations, including the question of why did districts receive a determination. That discussion will address the state performance plan indicators that the state office uses to look at the health of the special education system in Alaska. Then we'll look at the determination notices that you received, including the letter to the superintendent, the determination matrix, and the assistance and enforcement rubric. Finally, we'll review some district responsibilities once you receive your determination. Let's begin with the question of why do districts receive a determination? It's primarily driven by the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act itself. Within the law, it states that all the different components of the special education system must be monitored by the State Department of Education, and then the state must make determinations annually about the performance of each of the LEAs on the implementation of that law. In the same way, the State Department of Education turns in data to the Federal Department of Ed, and we also receive a very similar determination of our state's ability to implement the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. The process of making determinations allows the State Department of Ed to do a number of things, primarily to measure the ability of districts to implement the IDEA. But then it also allows us to evaluate the risk for students not receiving a free and appropriate public education within our schools. It also allows the State Department of Ed to highlight areas of needed technical assistance, either at a specific district level or at a state level. The State Department of Education uses multiple sets of data drawn from a variety of different sources in order to make the determinations for districts. Those areas of data are divided into two distinct categories. The first of which, here at the top, are compliance indicators. We look at issues of disproportionality or overrepresentation in both eligibility and placement for students with disabilities within districts. We also look at the district's ability to complete eligibility determinations within 90 calendar days. We look at a timely transition from Part C or infant learning programs to Part B programs. We also look at secondary transition plans being implemented at age 16. Finally, within compliance, we look at whether there are open complaints against the district and the timeliness and accuracy of annual reporting. And that annual reporting covers fiscal reporting, the supplemental workbook in special education that's turned in every year on July 15th, exiting data for students who graduate or exit out, coordinated early intervening services or CEIS data when it's applicable, discipline data, the suspension and expulsion of students with disabilities, and then whether grant applications for special education funds are done in a timely and accurate manner. We also then look at performance indicators and in relation to our state performance plan and the targets that we set up with stakeholders across the state. We look at the 4-year graduation rate for students with disabilities. We look at the dropout rate for students with disabilities within each district. We look at the participation rates on assessments for mathematics and reading for students with disabilities. And we look at the suspension rates for students with disabilities. And then the placements of students in their LRE or least restrictive environment. Each of those indicator areas are weighed against either targets or weighed against a standard of being above 90%. We then use those data to determine whether a district meets the requirements of IDEA, whether they need assistance to meet those requirements, whether they need some sort of intervention to meet requirements, or need substantial assistance to meet requirements. And within needs assistance, needs intervention, or needs substantial intervention, the determination will signify how many years a district has been in that category. Some common questions that come up are, why does this determination cover the previous school year, in this case the 13-14 school year? The answer to that is that it's a summary of the previous year's total data. So we look from the beginning of the 13-14 school year all the way to the end, to the graduation, and all the things that happened during that school year. We take all that data and we analyze it, and then break it out for each of the different districts, as well as aggregate it for state level data. We send our state level data to the federal government, and we look at the district level data for our own purposes to make determinations and to look at what kinds of technical assistance are needed. Another question is, where does EED get the data for these determinations? And as I said before, these data come through the supplemental workbook for special education that gets turned in every July 15th. Some of the data is collected through OASIS reporting. Some of the data is collected through the exit reporting that reports on graduates. We also pull from the discipline reporting, or SET system. We look at fiscal reporting, both for quarterly reporting of expenses, as well as turning in grant applications on time. And then we look at the state-based assessments for the participation rates. Finally, one of the questions that comes to us is, are these determinations made public? They are not made public at the state level, but they are reported at the federal level as per federal requirements. So the way determinations are given to districts is that your district superintendent will receive an email notice from our office that contains a district determination letter, a district determination matrix, and an assistance and enforcement rubric. These notifications will only be sent via email this year.
Let's take a look at the letter that your district will receive as a part of the determination process. You can see at the top here it's addressed to the superintendent, and following that is the authority by which this happens, and then we have the different indicators that are used to make the determination listed, and then the determination levels themselves that we previously discussed. Moving on to the second page, you'll see this is where your district's determination is then listed. Finally, there is a hyperlink that's an important hyperlink for your district to look at that's listed in here. And I'm going to go ahead and jump right to that now. This is a link that takes you to your district's data. We update on the website every year the district level data on all the different indicators for special education. When I click on this, you'll see it takes us right to the Department of Education webpage, and this is the special education district data profile. Down here, it's a very simple user interface. You look for the year, and then you look for your district, and then press submit, and that'll take you to your district's data. We're just going to do a random district here, and I'm going to just walk you through. So this is a report that has both the indicator names as well as a description of what that indicator is. So you can see right here at the top, indicator 1 is graduation rates, and what we list are both district information, the state level information, so you can do a comparison if you'd like to, and then state targets that are listed in our state performance plan and whether the district met that state target. And you can see in this district's case, they didn't have graduates for that year, so there's an NA in there, so that's something that can happen. You can also then look at this next bar that shows the percentage of all students in the district who graduated, so you can compare your district special education rate with your district all student rate. And so each of the indicators has that type of comparability where you can look at the state or look at your district and do some comparisons with your students with disabilities. And it runs through all the different indicators and some additional ones that are included in your determinations. The next piece of information that's included with your determination letter is a matrix, and this is designed to help you see specifically which areas met requirements, which areas maybe you need assistance in to implement the IDEA, or in the extreme case, either you need an intervention with or substantial intervention. So if you see, you want to start by looking at the different elements here. In this case, this is whether the district met EDGAR requirements, and there are no audit findings with the special education grant. And then you look across here and see that for this district they met requirements. The X is right in that meets requirement box. You do that for all these different indicators and see where the ranking is. And this just allows you to see where the work is, where you need to spend some additional time to kind of look at the root cause of any area where you need assistance or need intervention. And then from there, make some improvements. This bottom section I wanted to point out, this is a summary section where we look at all those performance indicators that I talked about, including graduation, dropout, participation rates on assessments, and least restrictive environment. Those here are shown whether the district met requirements of that, and then this X right here is a summary of those things. And so all of that descriptive information that helps you understand this matrix is listed down here, and certainly if you read through this and need some help interpreting it, we can certainly provide that here at our office.
The Local Determination Levels of Assistance and Enforcement Actions Rubric is a document that allows you to look at where your district's determination was and what are the kinds of activities and technical assistance that you might expect that come out of that. So you can see for medium requirements, the district would participate in normal monitoring activities as scheduled, and upon request, district may receive technical assistance. As we move down to needs assistance, the district will participate in monitoring activities as scheduled, and any scheduled and TA activities will include a focus on specific areas where there was a need. As we move into need intervention, the district will need to participate in some additional focused monitoring activities related to the specific issues that resulted in their determination. And the district will have those technical assistance activities scheduled with a program assistant here at the Department of Education. Finally, need substantial intervention has implications to both participate in additional technical assistance, possibly have scheduled technical assistance activities, including on-site intervention, and then the State Department of Ed has a responsibility to also look at funding to ensure that those funds are being directed towards students with disabilities in the most efficient and fair way. Once a district has received its determination, there are some responsibilities that it has. First, to participate in required or offered technical assistance, either in general or related to specific issues with which the district is struggling. For districts that have a determination of needs intervention, they'll be contacted for some targeted technical assistance, either in the immediate or over the next school year. Internally, we'd ask that the district look at the root causes of non-compliance. What are the things that are contributing to problematic percentages or problematic data in that area of special education? We'd also ask that you review your supplemental workbook submission that comes in on July 15th for accuracy. We have found over time that often data gets sent to us that simply is not accurate, and that results in there being a need for the data to either be revised in some cases, or for the district to review its methodology for gathering that data and for conveying that to the Department of Education. Finally, we'd ask that districts review their fiscal reporting system for compliance with deadlines. The fiscal reporting system has evolved in the last few years, and many of you are familiar with the grants management online system. We still ask that districts review how they're utilizing that system and that they are maximizing both the features that it offers and getting their fiscal data reported in a timely way. We hope that this brief overview helps you in understanding your district determination in special education. If you have further questions after reviewing all of your information, on your letter there are contact information for program managers, or you can contact our office directly either at sped@alaska.gov or by calling 907-465-8693. Thank you very much.